This is your election headquarters, and after 6 successful elections in the Fourth Republic, many Ghanaians yearn for a real third force which could break the duopoly of the NPP and NDC. While the two parties grow stronger, the chances of other political parties such as the Convention People's Party, CPP, the People's National Congress, PNC, and the Progressive People's Party, that's the PPP, continues to remain bleak, mainly due to financial and logistical constraints. Well, ahead of the December polls, JoyNews, your election headquarters, with Imani Africa, is bringing you the minority political parties debate. Head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, will be telling us more about that debate, and we'll be having a discussion shortly. But first, here's a report on one of the parties, the CPP.
Founded and led by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on June 12, 1949, the Convention People's Party.
But I believe that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo tried in 2008, failed, tried in 2012, failed, and it was in 2016 that he was able to succeed third time lucky. And I believe that Professor John Evans Atta Mills, may he rest in peace, also tried on a number of occasions. I don't think Ghanaians are ready to just accept you on the first go. They want to listen to you, they want to hear you, they want to follow you, they want to understand you, and they want to develop a degree of confidence in you. So once again, I'm going to offer myself and my party, in whose policies and programs I believe, to the people of Ghana.
Indeed, the CPP is currently a pale shadow of its old self, losing its only Jomoro seat in 2012 and managing just 25,552 votes, representing 0.24% of total valid votes cast in the 2016 election. But will the 2020 polls be when it corrects the irony in its motto, forward ever, backward never? For JoyNews, Manuel Cranting.
So a focus on the CPP today. Among the minority parties we have, it's the oldest, formed on June 12, 1949, followed by the PNC, formed in 1957. Head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, joins me for discussion on this. Evans, indeed we promised and we've delivered. Earlier we brought a debate between independent candidates. This time the minority parties. There is a concern though that we are not seeing the likes of Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings and Ekuya Donko and Gum, Sofutri Abosom. What went into the selection of these parties?
There was a strict criteria that Imani developed for this, and to qualify to be considered for tonight's debate, you must have a public showing. You must have articulated your policies, interventions, assuming you win power. You must have established bases across the country, some semblance of it. We are not using the same criteria as the EC might expect in terms of every district or electoral area, but you must have a certain national character. You must have been visible in the lead up to the elections. Now, that was the criteria. The NDP didn't meet that criteria. The Ekuya Donko didn't meet that criteria as well. I mean, all the parties that you see on the stage, even for the party of the PNC, the PPP, even APC, even Mr. Palu LPG, have in many encounters publicly articulated what they stand for, articulated their policy proposals. They have put something out that they believe represent what the party believes in and what people should be considering in voting for them. It was a criteria and you have to meet it. If you don't meet it, you don't qualify. The fact that you filed and paid your filing fee doesn't necessarily mean that you get to debate when we don't know what you stand for. And that is why this week, throughout the week, we've been speaking to the candidates, and you've heard them articulate these views that if some of them had put in documents that they brand as manifestos.
All right, Evan, so let's talk about the debate proper. And I'll keep making reference to the independent presidential candidates debate because that was a first of a kind. And we saw some unique features of that debate. For example, being limited to 1 minute, I think, to respond to questions. Is that the same procedure we're going to have with this particular debate?
We're still going to have strict time limits for the candidates to play within. We've extended the time by 30 minutes. So this time it's not 2 hours, it's 2 hours, 30 minutes. So they can have more time. If you don't get to articulate everything within the minute you are giving, you can come back when we get into the discussion, interaction, rebuttal phases, so you can get to engage more and expand on a subject. But what we are not going to do is simply allot time to the candidate just so they get to repeat themselves. We're going to be very strict on that, and there's going to be a timer which is going to count them down. And when the timer exhausts itself, it's up, and we move on. You get to expand it, because today we're going to be encouraging them to sort of challenge each other in terms of who has the best idea. And they're free to do it. That's what's going to be lively about this time. And we are also going to, this time, ask them specific questions about their manifestos.
Okay.
And their policy proposals they put out, and challenging them to it and how they compare and contrast with each other.
So, Evans, you've explained to us how the debate will happen. Is there opportunity for audience to ask questions?
Yes, there is. So we are bringing in an additional element of audience participation. Audiences in the main auditorium will get to ask a few questions. And then audiences listening to us on our many electronic social media platforms, etc., could also send in their questions to election headquarters, and we'll select a few to ask as well. So there's going to be audience participation in the process. And we're also going to do a poll that's going to run from when the debate starts till it ends. So people can tell us who they believe is winning their hearts.
I was just coming to that because, as we see with the U.S. presidential debates and even the vice presidential debates, at the end, there's some projection or some attempt to declare a winner. So I was just going to find out from you if we're going to do that. So beyond the polls, would you have your own way of assessing the responses, or you're leaving it solely to the audience to judge who won the debate?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to use the debate. We're going to let the people decide who best address their challenges. And for many people who are going to be listening, like every voter, or at least that's what we're expected to do, you have issues that are, for you, most important, based on which you want to vote for one candidate or the other. And if you're listening to a contest of ideas, which tonight is, you are paying attention to who is hitting these nails for you in terms of your own needs. And so we want the people to make that decision for themselves, having listened. Vote on the social media platforms to tell us who is doing it for them, who is addressing the issue, who is winning their hearts and minds. And so that's what we're going to use primarily. I mean, the danger is when we get into deciding ourselves without any proper objective criteria. If you leave it to the people, you can't get it wrong. At least the main poll is December 7th. That is the one that matters. And so the people can replicate that in their own way on social media tonight.
Thank you very much, Evans Mensah, head of our political desk, explaining to us what tonight's minority presidential debate is going to look like. And there you have it. We have Hassan Ayarga, who's with the APC, Ivor Greenstreet, CPP, David Apasera with the PNC, Bridget Jogbanuku with the PPP, and Kofi Akbalu, who's with the LPGs at 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. live on this channel on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and on Joy 99.7 FM. And here's what you can do if you don't have access to any of these channels. Definitely, it will be streamed live on our Facebook pages, Joy News on TV, Joy 99.7 FM. You can also stream worldwide at myjoyonline.com.